So, the one thing where he talks about campaigning to lower the age of criminal responsibility, this is a big problem in Brazil. There's a lot of 16, 17-year-olds, adolescent gang members in Brazil because of the demographics there, because Brazil allowed itself to go from pretty much 90% Portuguese, Italian, and German population to 50% Portuguese, Italian, and German 50% white population. This is the problem that they're having is because of the demographic shift. Just like London is experiencing, just like Europe is experiencing, just like we are experiencing here, as a matter of fact, to be honest. And this is a big problem here because these kids can murder people, can rape people, can rob people's houses, and they're not being tried. They're not being punished severely enough for them to stop. They're just going to turn around and do the same exact thing next week. So this is a big problem in Brazil. There was a time where Brazil was a lot easier to get a gun. Now today, it's illegal to have a gun as a private owner. It's very difficult to get a gun as a private owner in the country of Brazil. Look how well that's working out for you. So the leftists who want to push gun control, who want more gun laws here, look how well it's working out in Brazil. Look how well it's working out in Honduras. Look how well it's working out in Mexico, Guatemala, all these different countries that have a high rate of diversity, which they also want here. A high rate of diversity. They also have a high rate of gun crime, much higher than ours here, much, much higher in the case of Honduras and Brazil, and yet the guns are completely illegal there. These are all things that the left is trying to do here. They're trying to get rid of law and order. They're trying to institute gun control. They're trying to have more degeneracy in our society, and you can just look to Brazil to how things pretty much turn out while instituting these progressive politics, these progressive politics. He also says that an adolescent can rape and kill 200 people and he's still not treated like a criminal in Brazil. Most minors know that if they're going to commit a robbery, it's better to kill the victim as there is less of a chance of being caught, and if they are, the punishment will be the same. So he's talking about all the different gang members who are 16, 15, 16, 17 years old who are killing people and raping people there in Brazil, which they have a big problem with in like some of the favelas and stuff like that. Some of the very diverse areas they're in. Just mostly sick of people. Most of their politicians in Brazil are corrupt. They're connected with Petrobras. They've had, I think, 2 impeachments within the past 4 years. They marched. There was millions of people marching against their corrupt politicians or corrupt presidents. And Bolsonaro really is the only candidate that is not corrupt in any way, shape, or form. He's the only candidate that doesn't have any connections to Petrobras. This is the reason why he's rising in the polls, because a lot of these Petrobras investigations that are going on in Brazil actually right now are kind of downing some of the other candidates, I believe, from what I've read. So he's the only one that actually can give Brazil hope. He's the only one that can reverse the course, because how well has it been going for you, Brazil, electing all of these Marxist socialist politicians? How well has it been going for you? It's gotten so bad demographically there. So much tension between demographics there, especially particularly in the white community down south, where there was this movement. I don't know if it's still going on, but there's this movement of all the white Brazilians in the south of Brazil, because most of the south of Brazil is white, to separate from the rest of the country and become their own country. This is a real movement that was happening. You have actually, there's a documentary on the History Channel, I believe it was, that did a documentary about Dr. Mengele and how there's this whole like story, this kind of like this myth. It could be a myth, could be real, of Dr. Mengele visiting Brazil or fleeing to Brazil after the World War II. And experimenting on the cows there, farmers' cows, making them twins and things like that to increase their cattle population, and also experimenting on some of the mothers. Now, within this particular town, which is mostly German, blonde-hair, blue-eyed town in Brazil, it's called Candido Godoy. Within this particular town, 1 in 5 children are twins, blonde hair, blue eyes. So, obviously something's going on there in that town to have such high rate of twin population. I mean, you have the mother and her sister, they're both twins, and then each child of each couple has twins, and then they have twins, and then they have twins. 1 in 5 child who's born is a twin there, mostly blonde hair and blue eyes. They attribute it to the water there, something wrong with the water, but I don't think that can explain that. I mean, that has to be the highest birth rate of twins in the entire world. 1 in 5 is exploding. You guys should go check out his channel. Many YouTubers in Brazil are talking about him, propping him up, mostly white Brazilian YouTubers, of course.